Someone asked a great question. How do I become a vegetarian intuitive eater? As in, I'm already vegetarian or vegan, and I want to become an intuitive eater. I believe I have the natural ability to regulate my weight, regulate my food without following a diet. I want to be an intuitive eater, but I'm a vegetarian. I'm a vegan. How can I do this? Is this possible? Because you're telling me, the intuitive eating philosophy, you're telling me I have to let go of rules. I have to let go of the plan. And right now I have a plan, I have a rule, I have a guideline to not eat meat or animal products if you're vegan. How do I reconcile this? And is it possible to reconcile it? So that's the question. And I will admit, on the surface layer, it does seem like these are opposed. Because intuitive eating, as we know, we say, drop the rules. If you have a food rule against eating in the morning or not eating in the morning, it's about letting go of that rigid food rule and actually listening to your body and being willing to experiment and play and listen to how foods resonate in your body, and also learning emotional skills as well. And that reconnects you with your primal hunger. But what if your primal hunger wants meat? What if your primal hunger wants some animal products? Are you stuck? Is becoming an intuitive eater impossible? Should you just give up right now and say, forget connecting to my body? I'm just not going to do it. No. That's not the right answer. Here's why. There's two types of motivation, external and intrinsic. Most of the time, vegetarian and vegan is an intrinsic motivator, and that makes all the difference. Intuitive eating is against external motivation. External motivation is when your mom or your family members or your doctor says, you really got to lose some weight there. It's external motivation is coming from outside of you. It's maybe a meal plan, or if you start a major diet program, like let's say Jenny Craig, where they give you your meals, or you do Weight Watchers where they give you your points, or you do some other thing, Zone Diet or Atkins or whatever. They give you some sort of rules to follow. They say, be good, follow these rules. You will lose weight. And we know that the science shows that, yes, you will lose weight following their rules, but you'll gain the weight back. And you'll blame yourself. You won't blame the rules. You'll blame you. But the thing is that those rules were never your rules. When you followed that diet program, that was someone else outside of you, external. They were telling you what to do. So actually, that's external motivation. But when you want to be vegetarian, when you want to be vegan, I'm talking like not just a little thought in your head, like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to be vegan? Like, I think we've all known people or vegetarians who are vegetarian for a week, right? And they're like, oh, I'm just trying it out. And, that's like a thought that's just passing through. It's not a deep soul level motivator. It's not a deep soul level value. And I can relate too, because I was a vegetarian for a while. This was back in college, before I learned intuitive eating. After I lived in college, I became a monk afterwards, and that's where I learned intuitive eating. Actually, in college, I was a vegetarian, and I was intrinsically motivated, meaning I wanted to do it for the planet, I wanted to do it for my health, I wanted to do it for the animals. There were a bunch of reasons. And I actually got anemia. So I did, anemia is where you have low iron in your blood, and, you get low energy, and it's like not good. So for me to nourish my body, my values changed. My values changed to having a little bit more meat. So I changed my values, and that's okay. We can change our values when we run up against something that's really major, like anemia or something like that. But the funny thing is I didn't crave meat. And I've talked to a lot of vegetarians. It's not that hard to give up meat, especially if you do it gradually. A lot of people say, wow, I'm surprised I didn't crave meat. Well, that happens a lot of the time. when you are intrinsically motivated, when your soul is convinced that meat is not good, it becomes very easy to give it up because you are making the decision. It makes all the difference in the world. So the woman who asked, can I be a vegan intuitive eater? Yes, because we're still listening to your body. Your body doesn't want meat. For the vast majority of vegans and vegetarians, they no longer want meat when they're internally convinced that meat is not for them. They actually don't want meat. Their body doesn't want meat. It's easy to give up. Now you might wonder, well, what if I want to be vegetarian and I still crave meat? Well, guess what? That's fine. Here's what we want to do. We want to work with that. We don't want to say black and white scenarios. Sometimes people want to be vegetarian to lose weight, and it's the wrong motivation. So how I'd work with a vegetarian who craves meat is by asking them, how rigid is your rule about being a vegetarian? If you have an ounce of meat, does that mean you're not a vegetarian? Are you a vegetarian because you want to, quote unquote, call yourself a vegetarian and you're getting ego out of it? Because maybe you just need to eat a little fish and you're a pescatarian or whatever. Maybe it's okay to have a little meat so that you don't get anemia like I did. Are you okay with that? Are you okay letting go of the title vegetarian? Oftentimes people have this rule about being a vegetarian and it's like a status thing. And that status thing can be silly. It's the exact same thing as having a food rule that you can't eat donuts. It's a fear thing there for donuts, and it's like a status thing with vegetarians. So we you don't have to eat a lot of meat. That's fine. That's fine. We just want to listen to your body. And we don't want sort of these objective external pressures on us. Like even the vegetarian thing can be an external pressure where you have to live up to this vegetarian 100% or nothing standard. That's an external standard. What does your body need? Because I got anemia. Yo. Now, I wasn't listening to my body. Back then, I was smoking ungodly amounts of weed to cope with my emotions. There were a lot of things that weren't in alignment with me. So, I'm not saying you'll get anemia if you become a vegetarian, but maybe you're used to meat. I just talked to a guy this morning, literally this morning. Today's 4:21? No, 4:23. Literally talked to him this morning, and he had given up meat a couple of weeks ago. He went in to get his blood tested, and he could not donate blood because his iron count, his hemoglobin, wasn't high enough. So he realized, wow, I'm not getting enough iron in my blood, and he's currently trying now. He's getting more spinach. He's doing some some spinach smoothies with fruits and what he actually said potatoes. Potatoes, I guess, have iron. I guess that's what he read up or his doctor recommended. I actually didn't know that. But yeah, he's eating potatoes and spinach to get his iron count up because he wants to be vegetarian. He wants to reduce his meat consumption. And, that's great, right? That's great. He's getting his iron count up there. And let's say, hypothetically, he doesn't get his iron count up there. So let's say this poses a health risk for him, right? He can't donate blood. It's not high enough. This is actually, maybe it's causing him an energy. It's not feeling well. I would ask him, do you have to not eat meat? Maybe a little bit of meat is good. Maybe some natural, organic, raised in ideal circumstances. Maybe that's okay. Do you have to have this rigid food rule, no meat? Because I bet what's going on underneath that is that you're clinging and you're craving that status. Oh, I'm a vegetarian. I'm good. I'm a good person. Those other people are bad. If you cling to the vegetarian title, we just need to be careful that it's not something that's giving you ego or that it's like an artificial standard, because that'll backfire. We want to come from within. But the good news is that if you genuinely are motivated from your values, not from status, but you care, you're motivated by a sense of empathy. These are much more powerful motivators than looking cool. So when we care about the animals, when we care about our health, and we're being mindful about it, that's totally fine to be a vegan or vegetarian intuitive eater. So I hope that answers your question. Send more to me. Keep asking questions. Peace.